There are two sections of Algebra 1 taught at the local high school. The average on the final exam for 20 students in the first section was 74. The average score on the final exam for 25 students in the second section was 92. What is the average of the final exam score? So 20 students made a 74. So 20 times 74. Doesn't really matter what each individual student made. What matters is the average. And then plus 25 students made a 92. And then divide that by the total number of students, which will be 20 in one class, 25 in another. So we multiply these out. We get 1,480 plus 2,300. I'm not going to have room here. There we go. 2,300 divided by 45. And that's going to be 3,780. We add these together, divided by 45. And that equals 84, or choice D. The table below gives some stats based on the points Veronica earned on her first 3 math exams. If it can be determined what is the mean of the points Veronica earned on her 3 math exams. We know we're going to divide something by 3. So the median score is 80. And her maximum score is 90. And the range is 11, so the difference between the maximum and minimum, so 90 minus 11 equals 79. So now we have our other score. So 79 plus 80 plus 90 divided by 3 is 83, or choice H. Club has 30 members. The positions of president, vice president, treasurer will be assigned to 3 distinct members, so no one can be both the president and the treasurer. What's the maximum number of assignments that can be made? This is just permutations, combinations. So we have 3 positions, and for the first one we have 30 choices of people. Once that one's chosen, we can't choose the same person. So now we have 29, then we have 28. So 30 times 29 times 28, or choice C. Seems like a really easy question for number 53 somehow. Jane and Margaret moved to New City at the same time several years ago and have lived there ever since. Jane has lived there half of her life. So Jane's lived there for half of her life. And Margaret has lived there for 3/5 of her life. Okay. If J represents Jane's age, which of the following expressions represents Margaret's age? Okay, so J represents her life, M represents her life. So 1/2 of J equals 3/5 of M. So we just want to isolate M. So that means we're going to multiply both sides times 5/3. So these cancel. 5/3. And we get 5 over 6J equals M, or choice H. When 7 to the 126 is multiplied out, what digit is in the ones place? So exponents are repeating, and this is a really common question that ACT likes to use, is these repeating numbers. You'll see ones that say, today is Thursday, what day was it 726 days ago? So anyway, so you got to find the pattern. So we see 7 to the 1 is 7, and then 7 to the 2 is 9, 7 to the 3 is 343. So you're looking at the last digit, the ones place, and you see the pattern repeats every 4 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So all we got to do is say 126, old school division here, divided by 4, and that's 31 with 2 left over, remainder of 2. So 1, 2. So the digit will be 9, or choice E. It's a little bit of a tricky question, but these are actually pretty common on the ACT, so just know when you see one like this, it's pretty much what you're going to do. Shown below is the quadrilateral ABCD inscribed in the ellipse. The figure will be placed in the standard coordinate plane, described as this formula. Given that AC is the minor axis and BD is the major axis, what will be the coordinates of point A and B. Okay, equation of the circle or the equation of the ellipse are ones that appear. And if you have a TI-84 calculator or TI Inspire, go to Apps Conics, and it'll give you the formula for the ellipse. So you don't have to necessarily remember them. But what you need to know is the orientation. Does it have a horizontal or a vertical orientation? And I actually just went ahead and wrote this out so it'd be easier. We know the center, so x minus h squared, with h being the center. So since there's nothing there, we know that that's 0. Y minus k squared. K are the y coordinates. That's a negative 5. So that means it was positive going in. So 0, negative 5 are our center coordinates. And then we know that the 16 here is the vertex squared. So square root of 16, which means the distance from center to B is 4. So we move up the y-axis 4, so it's going to be the new coordinate is 9, and we see that at choice J, so that means our answer has to be J. We could also go, this is the vertex for this part. So square root of 9 is 3, so we go from 0, 5, go back 3, negative 3. So choice J again. Again, just know where to find these, and usually all you're doing on the ACT is figuring out how to plug into this equation or the equation of the circle, and rarely the parabola. Okay, there are 90 equally spaced dots on a circle. Shannon chooses an integer n. Beginning at a randomly chosen dot, Shannon goes around the circle clockwise and colors in every nth dot. He continues going around and around, coloring in every nth dot, counting each dot, whether it is colored or not, until he has colored every dot, which could be Shannon's integer. I've done these enough to know they're pretty easy if you just know what to do. So if it's 3, right, he starts at 1, he goes 1, 2, 3, then he's going to go 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. He's going to end up basically doing multiples of 3 and only hitting that, and he'll get to 90 and then go back to 3 again. So that's out. If he does 4, it's going to be 4, 8, 12, 16. So he's only going to hit even numbers, never get the odd numbers. If he does 5, he's going to 5, 10, 15, 20, just multiples of 5 and never hit anything else. If he does 6, he's also going to do 6, 12, 18, and just do these same multiples, but skipping these middle numbers for 6. So he's never going to hit them all. The only one that's going to hit them all is 7, and this is just about recognizing patterns and multiples. So your answer is questions like number 58 are annoying because of what you have to figure out to get it right at the end of the test. So there are 100 files in file folders. Each one is 0.45 inches thick. Okay. They will be placed in drawers. Each drawer can hold folders with a combined thickness of 7.5 inches. No folder is split between 2 drawers. All but one drawer will hold the maximum number of folders. What is the combined thickness of the partially filled drawer? So our first step 1, is how many folders can fit in a drawer. So we have 0.45 is the thickness of each folder, and that has to be less than or equal to 7.5, how much each drawer can hold. So we solve for x, so divide each side by 0.45, and you get x equals 16.6. So each drawer can hold 16 folders because it can't hold any partial drawers. Okay, so now we know that if each drawer can hold 16 folders of 100 folders, let's divide that by 16 to see how many drawers we need. And we can fill 100 divided by 16 is 6. So we have 6 drawers filled with 16 folders. Then we have 4 folders left over though, remainder of 4. So then each folder is 0.45 thick. So 4 times 0.45, and that is 1.8. So what's the thickness of the folders Third in the partially filled drawer, 1.8 F. Again, not a super hard mathematical question if you have unlimited time, but on the ACT, they're giving you this question to say how quickly can you calculate the steps you need to take. The following expressions is equivalent to the sum of this problem. I actually went ahead and wrote this one out because there was a lot to write down, which is the annoying part of this problem. So you have to get a common denominator. So we're going to expand this one out, right? So you get x plus 3, x minus 3. And then we're going to factor this one out. We get x squared plus 3x minus 18, x plus 6, x minus 3. So that's the first step. Then you have to get a common denominator, which means you already have an x minus 3 in each one. So you got to multiply one side by x plus 3 and the other side by x plus 6. And then you got to do the same thing to the top and the bottom. Okay. And so what you end up getting is this formula here, expression here eventually. And you got to add the terms together. So you eventually end up getting 9x plus 36 on top and x minus 3, x plus 3, x plus 6 on the bottom, or choice E. It's not a terribly hard question. It's just an annoyingly long question for number 39. Okay, for number 60, I went ahead and wrote out how to do it just because there's a lot to write out. And again, this one's just a little bit, I don't know if it's annoying. It's just a lot to kind of take in for number 60. For all positive x and y, x to the 1/3 and y to the 5/4 can be written which of the following ways. So if you know your radical rules, you know x to the 1/3 becomes root 3x and x to the 5/4 becomes root 4 y to the 5th. And you know you got to get a common component, so multiply both times 4, and you get x to the 4th, 12, and then so you're getting them alike. Then you're going to combine them. This is the easy part to get to here, and then simplify, which is what I think is the hardest part, is simplifying somehow. But you get choice J. I want to show you another method to do this. If you don't know your radical exponent rules, you can always plug in a number because all positive values of x and y. So I chose x equals 2 and y equals 3. And if you have a calculator, these are pretty easy to do. Just put 2 and 1/3 in your calculator and 3 to the 5/4 in your calculator. You get these numbers, multiply them together, you get 4 and 9/7. If you have a calculator where you can do replacement editing, it's even easier. So just enter each of these numbers in to see what you get, and you get choice J, 4.97. Works fine. The correct way to do it is the way that's fastest for you. In my experiences, most students aren't great with radicals. Some are, and if that's you, 100% this way. If it's not you, go to the plug-in method.